Here's a question that I get a lot. The question is, why did I become a police officer? Why do I do what I do? The short answer to that is because I'm not good. I'm not good at anything else. That's what I usually tell people. I tend to believe, and I don't have much choice but to believe, that you're going to gravitate towards what you're meant to do in life. You're going to gravitate towards the things that you're good at. When I was a kid, I grew up in a small town. It was a small college town. I didn't have any money. My parents were split up. We were on welfare when I was young. We didn't have anything. It was also a college town. I don't know if I mentioned that. I had a lot of resentment towards college kids in the town that I grew up in because I was a poor kid. The college in the town that I grew up in was a private school, and you couldn't get into that school if you were poor. So the people that went to that school, I did not feel like I was one of those kind of people. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and like the whole preppy versus like grungy person was kind of a thing, and I definitely wasn't going to be a preppy person. So I decided at a young age that the way I was going to make my way in life was going to be to join the military. That's literally the only thing I ever wanted to do when I was a kid. So I went into the military immediately after high school, and I didn't have a plan after that. I was in the military for almost 8 years. I was stop lost for the war in Iraq with my first tour. I was supposed to get out halfway through that tour, but I stayed in and finished my year. When my time in the military was over, I didn't want to be in the military anymore, just because some things that happened towards the end of that deployment. I wasn't very happy with the Army at that time. But I still wanted to have an active role in combat. That was where I thought I was meant to be. So that's when I went and got a job with a company called Blackwater. I went back overseas. Did that for about 2 years. And then it got to a point in my life where I was like, man, I've been in the I was in the Army for the better half of 8 years. I'd spent 3 straight years in combat, and I basically got it all out of my system. I was at a point in my life where I was like, you know what? I'm tired of going places where I'm going to be cold, wet, and hungry. And I'm tired of carrying a gun for a living. I decided I had given myself enough opportunities to sacrifice with the choices that I had made. And I decided that God had something different planned for me. So I was like, you know what? It's time to go home. I came home, went to college, got a degree in economics. For those that are curious, it took me a little over 2 years to get a 4-year degree because I was very dedicated to getting out of college. I graduated when I was 27 years old with a degree in economics. Worked a little while as I started in the financial sector in 2008. So I graduated in college at the end of 2007. If you know anything about the financial sector in 2008, that was when the Lehman Brothers scandal hit. Major financial crisis. Not a good time to work in the financial industry. I worked as a financial advisor for a large investment brokerage firm. That wasn't going well for me because knocking on people's doors, tell them that you're there to invest their money when they just saw over half of their money in the stock market disappear. That was not a good time to start that career. I went from there, staying in the industry, worked as a financial analyst for a little while, and then I got back into the retail financial advisor type role. Did that for a few years. I had some clients that would come into the bank where I was working that were police officers. And, they would always sit down and they could tell that I was a military guy, and we'd talk about stuff, and they basically talked me into taking the test. My one buddy, Steve, who I'm still friends with, I remember him saying, he was like, oh man, he's like, you'd be good at this. He's like, with your military and blah, blah, blah. He's like, this would be easy for you. So I went and I took the test. It's funny, on my polygraph, they asked me, have I ever lied to my employer? And my response was, yes, I lied to them today, because I told them I was in a meeting with a client, but I'm here doing my polygraph. As long as you're as long as you're honest on your polygraph, you're gonna pass. But yeah, I went and tested, and I was in the 90th percentile. And then when they called me and gave me my conditional offer, I was not in a very good mood at my current job, so I decided to take this job. When I got back to work, went through the academy and got to work in this field, I just got to a place where I felt natural again. So I just tell people, this is what I'm meant to do. I'm not good. I'm not good at anything else. I've tried other things. I'm just not good at them. So that's why I do this. I don't have any kind of what do they call that? Complex, like a hero complex or anything. I'm not out there trying to save the world. I'm not out there trying to put as many people in jail as possible. I don't really care about arresting people and putting them in jail, unless you really piss me off, and then I do take some pleasure in that. I don't know. I'm the type of person that's built to do the things that I do, and that's why I do it. Over the years, like especially when I was overseas, I would have people write me letters and tell me that they were either like jealous, or that they're like, I'm sorry that I'm not serving my country and all that other stuff. I would always tell them, like, don't be sorry for what you're doing. You're doing what you're meant to be doing, and I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. And to be honest, like especially for like soldiers overseas, the only reason that we go over there is so that there's something here worth coming back to. So don't be sorry that you feel like your contribution doesn't match someone else's contribution. The part that I do is just a very small part. The part that you do is a small part. And it's cheesy, but we all fit together, and we're all pieces of the same puzzle. So I don't know if I answered that question or not, but those are going to be my thoughts for today. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.